Howdy Shop Warriors. Today we're going to review the commercial electric 4-foot LED color changing light. Let's see how that works out. This is the 1004-060-730. I'm going to unbox this, show you all the accessories inside. We're going to mount it on my lighting rig so you can see it actually turned on and see what it looks like next to a 4-foot fluorescent light. And then we're going to talk about the good and the bad parts of this light. And yeah, just go through everything. So let's get into it. Alright, let's go through the specs on this light. So I've got a Google sheet with all the specs. Let's run through it. So this is the commercial electric 1004-060-730. I bought it for $35 at Home Depot. I have a link here to it. This is a 4-foot light. The bulb type is integrated, meaning there's no bulb to replace. The light and the fixture are one unit. The lumens on this light are 1800. The color temperature can be changed from 3000 to 4000 to 5000. And by the way, I have all these specs and specs on a whole bunch of other lights. Let me just switch over to that tab. So if you want to check out all the lights that I've reviewed and all the specs on them, you can access this Google sheet at my website at theshopwarrior.com/free. All right, getting back to the specs, the CRI rating is 80, the 50,000 hour lifespan rating on it, 20 watts for this light. It can be surface mounted. It can also be hung as well, either one. As far as power source, you can plug it in or you can hardwire it. It is linkable. It is not dimmable. It includes a 5-year warranty. It includes all the adapters that you need. And this is Home Depot owns commercial electric, so this is really a Home Depot product. All right, there we go. There's all the specs. All right, so let's open this up so we can get to all of the accessories that are inside. So we squeeze on the side of this thing. There are some tabs. Here, one just popped. Right here. 2, 3, and 4. There we go. All right, so we go ahead and disconnect the LED light, set that aside. All right, so we've got our screws, mounting screws, an adapter to link two of these together. We have another adapter to link them together. This is just our wiring. This is our ground wire. We have our plug, the switch. This plugs into one end. Then your 3-prong, and our wires if you want to hardwire it. And that is it. So I wanted to point out the tabs here. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So these are the points that you want to squeeze it to open it up to get the top off. And these same tabs are on the other side. And then on the bottom here, you can see we have our knockout. So if you need to run your wiring through that, you just push that and it pops out. And we have a hole for mounting. And this can be used to hang this if you want to hang it from a chain. These little guys. And another mounting hole and then another knockout. And then on either end, we have the plug there. Show this end too. And the same plug on that end as well. Also wanted to point out the switch here on the side that it's upside down, but it's 3K, 4K, and 5K. So this is where the switch is that changes the color on this light. So one little tip that I wanted to point out that I found with these is that these guys can be a challenge when you're inserting them in here. So before you get this thing mounted onto your ceiling or wherever you're going to put it, I definitely recommend first pulling these caps out because they're a lot easier to get off before they're mounted, and also test fitting whatever you're going to use into the end of this before it gets mounted as well. because it's much easier to get this pushed in there when it's on the ground versus when it's up on a ceiling or you're standing on a ladder trying to do it. So definitely test fit this, get these plugs off before you put them up. The other thing I was going to point out was on this side, you'll notice it has this little metal tab. So when you're squeezing this to get it open, it's much easier to squeeze on the side that is opposite this. So don't squeeze on this side, squeeze on this side. So something to point out here that is not so obvious, I'm just looking at the cable that links these two together. But if you look at the ends here, you'll see that they're slightly different. See that the one on the right here has this part that sticks up in the middle there. See, and over here you don't see it. So that is because on one end of this light, you can see it here, there's this little ridge here in the middle. So that is made for this end, and this adapter with the little ridge in the middle works on the other end. If you can see there. So see how it's a little more open here and that this ridge is not as high. So the ends of these are not the same. They are, as you can tell, based on this adapter, a little bit different. So when we look at the power cord, you'll notice that the power cord has the ridge in it. So that is designed to go on this end. So it only fits into one end. Just something to note when you're plugging this in, that if it's not going in easily, you probably have the wrong end of it. Alright, so that's all the accessories, everything that comes in the box. Next we're going to install this onto our test rig so we can turn it on, you can see what it looks like. Alright, we've got the light on our test rig here turned on. So hopefully this will give you a sense of how bright this is and the color. So we've got the two fluorescent bulbs here, 4 foot, and those are rated at 4100 Kelvin. So the color on it is 4100. The color on this is variable, so we can change the color. So right now it's set to 4000. So you can kind of see they're pretty close. They look pretty similar. We'll change the color in just a second here to give you an idea of what that looks like. All right, let's change the color. So there's just a button on the side. We'll turn it down first. All right, so now it's set at 3000. So you can see it looks a little more yellowish. All right, now we'll switch it back to 4000. All right, so now that's back to 4000. Now let's look at 5000K. There we go. So that is 5000K compared to 4000 on the fluorescence on the left. So you can see it's definitely a whiter color. Come over here from this side. All right, let's talk about the good and the bad about this commercial electric light. So on the good side, this is Commercial Electric, which is a Home Depot brand. You buy it at Home Depot, you can return it to Home Depot, you have issues, Home Depot will deal with it. I like that compared to getting things on Amazon. So that's definitely a positive in my book. It also has a 5-year warranty, which is on the high end of the scale that I've seen compared to all the other lights. And it's also rated at 50,000 hours, which is also on the high end of the scale. So I like all of that about this light. It's a quality light, it's backed by Home Depot. The other nice advantage to this light is, and kind of the standout feature of it, is that you can change the color from 3000K to 4000K or 5000K, which is great. It's also got all the accessories you need to plug it in or to link it. Really great. Another nice thing about this is the lens and the fixture itself. It's a quality fixture, it's nice and big, and you get a nice big lens. So what does that mean? It means that it's going to diffuse or disperse the light very nicely. So it softens it up, so it's nice on your eyes, which is especially important if you have low ceilings or a small space and the light's bouncing off the walls or the floor. It's going to be gentler on your eyes. It's going to be a better experience. Now, maybe that's not what you need, and that's fine. But especially if you have a smaller space, that's something to consider, is how the light comes out. And I say that in contrast to some of the other lights that I've reviewed from Amazon, and I have videos so you can check out those. Those are on my channel as well if you want. So the other ones from Amazon that I've seen, the fixture itself is probably half as wide, and the lens is much closer to the LED, which means the light from the little LED strip inside there comes through the lens more, and it's just brighter in your eyes, a little more annoying. So something to consider. So it's definitely an advantage to this commercial electric light and the other commercial electrics that I've reviewed as well. I like that. So let's talk about some of the downsides to it. Number one is 1800 lumens. So that's on the low end of the scale for a 4-foot light. There are quite a few other lights, even the ones from Amazon, which are in the 2200 lumens range, 2400. There's several around 3000, and even as high as I think 4200 was the highest I've seen. So, 3000, 4000 compared to 1800, that puts us on the lowest end of that scale. So as far as your lumen output, you're not getting as much as you could for other fixtures. So that's definitely a disadvantage to this one. Another disadvantage is the cost. So this is $35 for one 4-foot light. So if you only need one or two, this could be a good option. But if you want to fill a whole garage and you have a big space, that cost is going to add up. In comparison, on Amazon, there's a good product you can get that includes 4 lights for $60. So one for $35 or 4 for $60. Now, the last thing that I think really is probably more of a disadvantage than anything is that color change feature. So it is the standout feature on this light. It's what makes it unique, but I don't really see myself ever using it. Once you know what color you want, I don't think after a month or so I would ever hit that switch and change it ever again. So I really see it more of a disadvantage. Now maybe you have a specific use and purpose for that, so it's worth it to you, but I would just find the color I like and buy the fixture that's that color and be done with it. So this commercial electric light, there's basically the exact same thing, but without the color feature, and it's $5 cheaper, so it's $30. This one was $35. So I'm basically paying $5 for this color change feature that I personally would never use. So if it were me, I would not buy this. I would buy the one that is 4000K or 5000K, whatever color I want, and save $5 a light. Like even if you want this exact fixture but without that feature, you're gonna save $5 per light. So I really don't see any advantage to that feature. I would go with the cheaper commercial electric just like it, or maybe a product on Amazon. So for me, I would not buy this light. Overall it's a nice light, just that feature doesn't seem worth the money. So I've reviewed 7 other of these lights, all the best ones from Home Depot, from Lowe's, from Amazon. You can see the individual video reviews of those, and I did a big comparison video showing all of them side by side. You're welcome to check those out. In addition, that Google Sheet that I showed you showing all the specs and comparing all the features of this light to those other 7 lights, you can access that for free on my website at theshopwarrior.com/free. I appreciate you watching. I hope that was a helpful review of this light. Gives you an idea of what you may or may not like about it. Be sure and check out all the other lights so you can find one that works for you. Have a good one.